Hello my friends! Today we are gonna design this beautiful website using Material UI. We are gonna learn how to use the most common Material UI components by creating a real-world project. Cards, lists, modals, icons and more. And also, you will learn how to create your own themes, how to customize styles, and how to build your own components. Then we'll go ahead and create a dark mode theme. And we are gonna do this in just a minute. It's an awesome project to learn new MUI. And this project will be mobile responsive. You will see how easy to create responsive designs using MUI. And finally, we are gonna deploy this website using a hosting service. And as always, we will be using Hostinger. It's one of the most popular hosting providers and the sponsor of this video. It's really cheap, really fast, and I really love its user-friendly dashboard. You can deploy all your websites in one hosting. You will have more than enough storage. But the best thing is you are gonna get a free domain and free SSL certificate at this price. You can choose any time period here, and if you use the link in the description below or Lama Dev coupon code here, you are gonna get an extra discount. After choosing the payment method and purchasing, you are gonna redirect it to Hostinger panel. And as you can see, I have chosen the business shared hosting. So let's claim our free domain and set up our hosting. I'm gonna write a domain name. If it's available, you will be able to register. And it's ready. So let's set up the hosting. I'll choose start from scratch and I'll select my new domain. We can finish the setup. It's gonna take a while, and right after that you are gonna see your panel. And you are ready. You can manage your domains, your files, and you are gonna see how easy to deploy any application using this file manager. So if you are ready, let's create our website and deploy it here. Okay, I created a new folder and I'm gonna create a React app. To do that, I will open my terminal and write here npx create React app. And I wanna install everything here, so I will say dot and enter. During this process, let's check out the new Material UI page. It's not Material UI anymore, it's MUI. They have changed its name and the website. Now it's much clearer and more effective. I really love this version, it's one of my favorites. After this tutorial, I believe that it's gonna be yours too. So let's get started. So we are going to install MUI. To do that, there are two options. We should use a styling library to run Material UI. So you can either use emotion or styled components. You are probably familiar with styled components, but there's a problem here. If you create any SSR project, it might cause some problems. That's why they are using emotion as a default library. So we are gonna use emotion too. So I will copy here. If you are using npm, just copy this line. If you are using yarn like me, copy this line. And don't worry about emotion, you are gonna see that it's working like styled components. So let's come here, I'm gonna paste here, it's gonna install, and let's see what else. As you can see, MUI is using this font family by default. We can do the same thing, I can copy this and paste into index.html. And one more thing we are gonna install, and it's gonna be MUI icons. If you check the icons page, as you can see, there are tons of beautiful icons here. So we will be able to use all those icons. So let's come back. Firstly, I'm gonna install my font family here. By the way, we should clean here. But before, I'm gonna paste my link, and here I'm gonna create a style. And inside I'm gonna choose all document, and font family will be Roboto. Okay, let's install these icons, and after that we can get started. I will copy here and paste. Let's run our application, npm start or yarn start. And as you can see, it's ready. Let's clean here and everything will be easier. First here, we don't have any icon. I will delete this theme here and those comments. And here, I can delete those logos. It's gonna be only index.html. And here we don't need any CSS, test file. It's gonna be only app.js and index.js. And finally, inside application, I'm gonna delete them. And of course, inside index.js, I'm gonna delete this CSS. And here, and that's all. Okay, like that. And as you can see, there is a default space here. I wanna delete this. And I can come here and say margin 0, and that's all. We can get started. I'm gonna close here and my sidebar. Let's see how we can use it. As you can see, we are using MUI elements like that. We are importing and using as a component. Actually, let's open up buttons here. And here, as you can see, we have different kinds of buttons here. Let's copy them and paste here. I'm gonna come here and delete the last letter and I will write again. As you can see, it provides all those libraries. We are gonna use Material UI button like that. I will save. And as you can see, they are here. First one is only text. This is content and this is outline, only with border. So you can give any attribute like disabled, href, let's say disabled for this. And as you can see, you don't have to worry about any styling. And we can change their colors. Let's say color primary. Actually, it's primary by default. And let's change and right here secondary. And as you can see, it's purple right now. Purple is a weird choice as a secondary color, but anyway, you will learn how to change these colors. And also we can give any size, large, medium or small. Let's make small and like that. And also we can give any icon for our buttons. As you can see, we are writing start icon and passing our icon. Let's choose any icon here. I will say settings. I'm gonna choose field here. Okay, we can use this one. As you can see, you can import it like that. And I will say start icon and it's gonna be settings icon. Like that. It's that easy. Let's create one more icon here. And let's change this color. It's gonna be success, for example. And this icon will be, let's say add, and we can use this one. If you don't want to copy and paste again and again, basically you can choose this name and write it here. Add, and as you can see, I will click and it comes from icons material. I can do the same thing for this one. Instead of writing them in different lines, I will just say settings and let's delete this one. And in this case, it's going to be just settings. Settings and add new post, for example. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to add a text here. To do that, we are going to use MUI typography. I will come here. And as you can see, we don't need to import any font source. That's because we have already installed in index.html. So don't worry about that. So what I'm gonna do is using typography component and giving its type. As you can see, it's h1. So what's this component? Basically, it takes style from h1, but it's gonna be actually h2. Let me show you. You are gonna understand better. I'm gonna copy here. And let's paste. I'm gonna import and component will be, let's say P. It uses h1 style, but it's a P tag. Okay, as you can see, it's really huge. But if I open elements here inside my div, my buttons, and as you can see, it's a P tag. Of course, in most cases, we are not using any components. You can just delete here. I just wanted to show you. So far so good, but if I want to change this color, I didn't like this purple. There are many ways to do that, but the easiest one is writing an inner style. Let's create another button here. Button, and I will say my unique button. And variant will be contained again. And what I'm gonna do is giving here as X property, and inside I can write any style. Let's say background color is gonna be sky blue, for example. And what else I can say? Text color is gonna be this light gray. I can give any margin. By the way, if you are using Material UI, you can use this shortcut also. You can directly say M, but let's use margin. And it's gonna be 5, and let's see first, and later we can add more, and as you can see it's here. But when I hover over, as you can see, this blue color is still here. How we are gonna change it? I'm just gonna write hover and my style inside. I will say background color again, and let's say light blue. Okay, perfect. I can do the same thing for disabled attribute, for example. Let's give comma first, and I will say disabled background color will be, font color will be white. Of course, we should make it disabled first, and that's all. This is how we are applying our own style. Let's delete this disabled, and what if I want to create one more button, same button like that? Okay, it's here. But writing them like that again and again is not a good idea. So what we can do? Basically, we can create our own button component here. And here is how we can use emotion or style components. So I will say const blue button, and I will say styled is gonna be MUI and material. I'm gonna choose this. And inside I can select any MUI component or HTML element. Let's say button, and here we are gonna just write our styles. Let's copy here like that and paste here. So I can use it everywhere. Let's delete them. I will say blue button, my button, and one more. Let's say another button. And it's that easy. So if you are using the same color in multiple components, you don't have to write them in every component like that. Basically, you can create your own theme. Let's come here, and I'm gonna say theme.js, and here I'm gonna create my theme. I will say export const theme, and here I'm gonna use create theme from Material UI. And inside this, I can create my own shapes, own colors. Let's check here, customization and theming. And as you can see, palette object is where we are storing our colors. As you can see, primary, secondary, success, error, or your custom color. Let's do that. I will say palette, and I want to change my primary color, and you can give any other variants inside. For example, main this color, light, I don't know, sky blue, whatever you want. Let's do the same thing for secondary. It's gonna be this color. And also you can create your own color. Let's say other color, and main will be this gray color. If I come here and check, as you can see, nothing has changed. That's because we are not using our theme for this application. Basically, you can come here and wrap all your application with theme provider. And you can do the same thing for index.js. By the way, this is how React 18 works. We are not using React render anymore. It's gonna be create root. So if you want to upgrade your React version, make sure that your index.js looks like this. Otherwise, you might see any errors in your console. Okay, anyway. So what I'm gonna do is creating here theme provider from material, and I'm gonna wrap my application like that, and finally I'm gonna import my theme. Let's import this, import theme from theme file. Okay, I can use it here. And after this, as you can see, our secondary color has changed. It was purple, but right now it's green. So if I come here and change its color, it was secondary. Let's make my other color. What was the name? Okay, other color. Like that. As you can see, it's gray. And you can do the same thing for your custom button here. And here you should write your theme. And let's close here. And we can use our theme right now. I will say theme.palette and other color. And main color, of course. And as you can see, it's here. It's that easy. So we can delete this. You don't need any provider right now. But later you are gonna see how easy to create dark mode with this theme. And I'm gonna take this back. And right now you know the basics of Material UI. Of course, I'm not gonna explain all those components here. I think it's pretty clear. You will just copy and paste them. I see a lot of tutorials just showing all those components, but if you are smart enough to use React, probably you know how to copy and paste them. So what I want to do is showing you a real world project. We are gonna create a website. We are gonna use the most common components. We are gonna give our styles. We are gonna learn how to create responsive websites, how to pass props inside Material UI styles. So if you are ready, let's clear here and start making our project. I'm gonna delete everything and this and those imports. Okay, everything from scratch. So what we are gonna have? We are gonna have a navbar here, and after that we are gonna have 3 columns. First one will be our sidebar, second one will be feed, which includes our posts, and last one will be right bar. Let's create our components. I will come here and say components navbar JS or JSX sidebar feed and finally right bar. Let's create our functions. Sidebar feed and right bar. Okay, so before creating our navbar, I want to show you how you can use Flexbox. So firstly, we are gonna create our sidebar, feed and right bar. I will close them and open up my app.js again, my components. Sidebar, feed and right bar. Let's import them. Components and sidebar. Feed and right bar. Let's see. As you can see, they are here. Okay, so how we are gonna use Flexbox? Because each component here will be different columns. We are gonna have a Flexbox container. So let's see how we can create Flexbox container. If you scroll through this menu bar, you are gonna see layouts. First layout will be box. Basically, it's like HTML div. There is nothing special. We are just gonna wrap our components. So what else here? We have container. It's a div again, but it has some default margin. Let's try them actually. So instead of div, I will say first box from Material UI. And as you can see, nothing has changed because it's acting like a div. So what else? We have container. And as you can see, there is a space here. Let's give background color and you can understand better. I will say red. There is a default margin and padding and its width is horizontal like that. It's 100%. So what else we have? We have grid system here. As you can see, if you want to create grid system, you can use this component, but there is something important here. Its name is grid, but it uses CSS Flexbox actually. It's not using CSS grid. This is why Flexbox is really important. This is why I'm using Flexbox for my all projects. If you are using React Native, you have to know how Flexbox works. Okay, we don't need this. That's because we are not creating any 2 dimensions grid system like that. So let's check stack. It's a grid system, but it's only 1 dimension. It can be vertical or horizontal. If it's vertical, it's gonna be only 1 column. If it's horizontal, it's gonna be only 1 row. As you can see, we have direction here, and we can give any spacing between them, or you can add any dividers. Let's create this. Firstly, I'm gonna take this back, and it's gonna be a box. That's because we are gonna create our Navbar here later. Let's write here Navbar. We are gonna use it later. And for those components, I'm gonna create a stack. Let's say stack from Material UI, and I'm gonna wrap my components here like that, and it's gonna be horizontal. So I will say direction, as you can see, column reverse, row, and row reverse. Just like Flexbox, I'm gonna choose row. They are horizontal right now. So let's give some spacing. Let's say 2. As you can see, some space between them. You can also use align items or justify content. If I say justify content and center, they are gonna be centered like that. Space between is gonna separate them like that. Basically, you can give any Flexbox property here like that. So we are using space between. So if I give those components any colors, you can understand better, I think. Let's make them box also. And I will use SX, or I can use any shortcut like background color. And let's say sky blue. So I will do the same thing for feet and right bar. It's gonna be box, background color, let's say pink. And for right bar, box and background color, let's say light coral, for example. Okay, perfect. As you can see, they don't have any width. Remember how we are using Flexbox? We can directly give any percentage, just like with 20%, with 50%, but the efficient way is using flex. So for the sidebar, it's gonna be flex 1. Let's copy this. For feet, it's gonna be flex. Let's say 4. It's gonna be bigger. And for the right side, it's gonna be 2. Sidebar is 1 unit. Feet is 4 times bigger than sidebar, and right bar is 2 times bigger than sidebar. It's that easy. By the way, we can give some padding for each. How we can do this? If I say P, as you can see, there's a shortcut here. I can directly just say 2. And for others, 2 and padding 2. Like that. Awesome. But what if we use any mobile phone? If I open my console and click here, it's still same, but for mobile screens, it's not a good idea to see all those elements here. So what we can do, we can basically delete this sidebar and right bar, and we can see only our feed, just like Instagram or Facebook. To do that, we are gonna use Material UI breakpoints. Let's search for it. I will say breakpoints. As you can see, there's a default breakpoint here. So we can use extra small from 0 to 600 pixels. It's gonna be small from 600 to 900, medium from 900 to 1200. It works like that. Of course, if you want to use different breakpoints, you can customize it. You can create your own theme, and as you can see, our object will be breakpoints, and you can change those breakpoints. For example, you can make this 480, 690, whatever you want. It depends on you. But I'm gonna use the default one. In this case, if it's smaller than 600 pixels, it's gonna be extra small. So we can use this key. So what I'm gonna do is creating inner style like that. And I'm gonna write here my condition. I will say if it's extra small, just make it display none. I'm gonna close my sidebar, by the way, you can see better. And I will say if it's small screen or bigger, it's gonna be display block or whatever you want. Let's see right now. I'm gonna open here again, and as you can see, we don't have sidebar anymore. I can do the same thing for right bar. Let's copy this line and paste it here. Okay, perfect. Only feed is here. But if I open my desktop version, it's gonna be like that. Let's move this a little bit. If it's under 600, it's gonna be extra small, like that. I'm coming, and that's all. It works like that. Of course, for tablets, for small screens, you can create another breakpoints. But for this tutorial, I just want to show you the basics. So we are ready to create our Navbar. Let's close them, and I will say Navbar. Of course, we should use it here. Navbar. I can delete this container, by the way, we are not using. Okay, let's see how we can create. I will open up Components and App Bar. There are different kinds of app bars here. You can use whatever you want, but this one looks pretty good. I'm gonna use this. But if you open source code, you might be a little bit confused that because there are many things here. Of course, we are not gonna copy paste anything. I'm gonna show you the easiest way. Don't worry. Let's see what it's using here. Okay, here. As you can see, it's using box. It gives SX here, but you can directly write flags also, as we did before. And after that, it creates app bar. And inside this app bar container, we are gonna have a toolbar. Basically, it gives some default margin and padding. Of course, you can create here a stack, as we did here. And we can say, put here our logo. For the center, put maybe search input. And for the right side, our icons. But let's go with this way so you can understand how it works. So instead of div, I will say app bar. And as you can see, it has our primary color. And if I add inside toolbar and wrap this text like that, as you can see, it gives this padding. But as you realize, we cannot see our other components. That because we didn't give any position for this app bar. So I will say position. You can give any CSS positioning, for example, static. If you do that, you will be able to see other components. And also you can say, for example, sticky. So in this case, even if we scroll down on this screen, Navbar will be always on the top. So let's use this one. And after that, we are gonna create our logo, search bar, and icons. To do that, I want to use display flags again. So we can use our own toolbar. So I will say const style toolbar styled from material, and it's gonna be a toolbar, and I'm gonna say display flags. And again, I'm gonna separate them. So I will say justify content. It's gonna be space between. So instead of toolbar, I'm gonna use this one. Like that. So let's create our logo. It's gonna be a text. Let's say Lama Dev, and I'm gonna give some variant here, and it's gonna be H6, like that. Perfect. So let's make this responsive. If I open my console again, oops, I said stick. It's gonna be sticky. Okay. So I'm gonna open mobile screen here, and as you can see, it's really large right now. If I add here search button or any other icons, they are gonna be overflowing. To prevent this, let's think what we can do. Basically, instead of this text, we can add some image or icon. Let's come here. I'm not sure if there is a llama or not. Okay, there is no. Maybe pet. Okay, this one is good. Pets. We are gonna use this one. So what I'm gonna do is creating here my icon. I'm gonna import this like that. And again, I'm gonna use my style here. Again, I will say display, and for X small, it's gonna be none. And if it's small or bigger than small, it's gonna be block. And I will do the same thing for my icon. I will copy this and paste here, but this time it's gonna be block and none. And as you can see, our logo is here. Let's close here, and I'm gonna shrink. Perfect. If it's small screen icon, if it's bigger, perfect. So what else we are gonna need? We are gonna need a search bar. So let's use something different here, and I'm gonna show you how you can use HTML div. Const search bar or just search, and it's gonna be styled again, but inside you can use any div element like that. And here I'm gonna use my theme, and inside I will say background color, it's gonna be white. So let's use it and you can see better. After this icon I will say use this search component, and I will say search, and it's here. It's end of the screen, that because we are using justify content. Remember, it's space between. So if we create another component here, we are gonna see that our search bar in the center. Let's copy this and create one more, and this time it's gonna be, let's say, icon container or just icons, and it's gonna be a box from material. So let's use it here. Icons, and it's gonna be icons inside. For now I'm just writing text, and as you can see, this is our search bar and this is our icons box. Let's close here, by the way, and let's give some more styles. Firstly, I want to give some padding. From top and bottom it's gonna be 0, left and right 10 pixels. And let's use our theme. I will say border radius. Let's give comma here, by the way, and it's gonna be, of course you can give any pixels here, but I want to show you how you can use theme. I will say theme dot shape and border radius. And this time, as you can see, it's not sharp anymore. It looks much better, but it's really small. Let's give some width. I will say width, and it's gonna be 40%, for example. Okay, perfect. Of course, there is no input inside. Let's see how we can add. I will search for input, and it's gonna be input base. And as you can see, we can use all those props. So let's use it inside this search. Instead of this text, I will call input base, and I will import, and let's give a placeholder, and it's gonna be just search like that. And right now we can see our padding better. So what about these icons? I'm gonna create my icons. First one will be mail. Okay, let's use this one, but before I want to show you one more thing, and it's gonna be page. So instead of using this icon alone, we can give some badge. As you can see, it's really easy to use. Only thing you should do is giving here a number and its color and our icon. So I'm gonna copy this and paste inside icons. Is gonna be our first icon. Let's import this page and mail, and let's see. As you can see, it's here. By the way, I'm gonna delete this color here, and this page color will be red, so I can say error. It's just like primary, secondary, and success, like that. Of course, we cannot see that because our container is white. I'm gonna delete this, and perfect. And I'm gonna add one more page here. I'll just copy and paste, and it's gonna be notifications. Let's import. As you can see, it's here. And last thing will be avatar. It's gonna be our user avatar. It's here. As you can see, it's a circle. You don't have to create any div and give border radius. It's that easy. We are gonna use only this component. So after this page, I will say avatar like that. Let's import, and we should give our source. I'm just gonna copy and paste this image from pexels.com, and as you can see, it's really big. Let's give some style here. I can use inner style, and let's say width 30 and height will be the same. Okay, it's much better. But as you can see, it's not horizontal. I will say display and flex like that. And I can give some space between them. So if you are using Flexbox, you can just give here a gap. It's going to be 20 pixels like that. It's much better. By the way, I can align them, align items. It's going to be center. Okay, they are centered vertically. So let's take care about our mobile device. By the way, it's still here. I'm just gonna refresh my page. Okay. Let's come here. Actually, it looks okay, but for more practice, let's give something else. It's gonna be more useful for you. So what I'm gonna do, if it's a small screen, I'm just gonna show this avatar and maybe username. We are not gonna see these notifications. Let's do that. Const user box, for example, I will say styled, and it's gonna be a box. Actually, I can just copy this one, user box, and again it's gonna be display flex, align item center, maybe last gap, and I'm gonna use it here after icons. User box, and it's gonna include our avatar. Let's copy this, and also it's going to be our username. Let's say John, and variant will be just spam. Like that. So what I'm going to do is giving my display condition. If it's small screen, we are going to delete this one, and we are going to show our user box. If it's bigger, it's going to be the opposite. So how we are going to do this here? As you can see, we are using theme. We can use it, and I will say theme.breakpoints, and I will say up here, and if it's small or bigger than small, that's why we are using up. So I'm gonna say display flex. In this case, if it's smaller than this breakpoint, which is 600, it's gonna be display none. It's that easy. If I save, and as you can see, it's not here anymore. But if I open, it's here. So I can do the same thing for this box. So I will copy here and paste. And this time, if it's smaller than this screen, it's gonna be flex. If it's bigger than 600, it's gonna be display none. Like that. Let's shrink this. Perfect. So what else we can do? We can add here a button. So when we click on this avatar, we can see our user menu. How we can do this? Let's search for menu. And as you can see, when I click this button, it opens this menu. It's that easy. So I'm gonna show you how we can use it. So let's copy this one, but it doesn't have any position here. So, okay, it's gonna be this one. We can give any position. Let's see. Okay, it's here. As you can see, it's gonna be on the top and left side. Let's copy this one, and under my toolbar, I'm gonna paste it, and let's import them. Of course, we are gonna apply everything later, so I'm gonna delete those functions here. Menu item. Okay, firstly, it's gonna be true. That because I'm just showing for now, don't worry about that. And position will be top and right. So if we open our application, as you can see, it's here. So how we are gonna decide if it's open or not? It's really easy. We can just create use state here. After Navbar, I will say const open set open and use state hook. At the beginning, it's gonna be false. It's gonna be closed. And when we click our avatar or this user box, it's gonna be opening. So I can say here on click event, take the event and set my state. It's gonna be true. I will do the same thing for mobile version, which is user box. Okay. And I will come here and write here my closing method. It's gonna be on close, and again set state, set open, and it's gonna be false. So whenever we click somewhere else, it's gonna be closing. Let's try. I will refresh. Of course, we didn't write here our condition. It's not gonna be true. It's gonna be depending on our state. Let's try. I will click, and as you can see, it's here. And when I click somewhere else, it's gone. It's that easy. So let's open mobile version, and I'm gonna click here. Perfect. It works. So we've finished our Navbar. You can also give menu for these icons. Maybe for this search button, if you have any search list, you can use autocomplete. Let's come here and check. And as you can see, it's not like a search button, but you can write anything here, Pulp Fiction, and it's gonna choose this element. It's really useful. If you are searching from any list, you can use this one also. As you can see, the only thing you should do is giving your list as an option, like that. Okay, I'm not gonna show this because we don't have any functionality. It's just a design. So let's take care our sidebar. So let's open sidebar. So what I'm gonna do is adding a list. Let's check here. I will say list, this one, and as you can see, it's pretty nice. We have an icon and text. You can use this, and also you can use a nested list like that. You can give additional text here and other options. This one is nice also. We can use this in our right bar, but for now, let's create this basic one. I will open here. And as you can see, list component and inside list item. And we are gonna add our icon here, and I'm gonna copy here and paste like that. Of course, I should close my list component here, like that. So I'm gonna import them. List item, button, and we are gonna change this icon. I can delete this. And finally, text. And it's gonna be, let's say, home page. So for this button, we can add a new component. Remember how it works. So we can do the same thing. It's a list item button, but its HTML tag will be a. So in this case, we can give link here. Of course, we don't have any, but just right here, something like that. Okay, let's add icon. I will come here and search for home page. And this one is good. We can use it. Home, and I'm gonna import. Let's see. Okay, perfect. By the way, we can delete this background color. We don't need anymore. Of course, you can change its color, this border shape. It depends on you. So I'm gonna add other items. Okay, I added other items here. There's nothing important, just texts and icons. Let's see. As you can see, it's much better. But I want to add one more list item here, and it's gonna be our dark mode option. So I'm gonna come here and search for switch button. And as you can see, we can use this basic one. Let's see what else we can use. As you can see, you can use any color here. But let's use this basic one. So I'm gonna create one more list item, and our icon will be, let's choose here, moon. This is good, I think. We can use this one. Instead of this icon, I'm gonna use mode night. And we are not gonna have any text. I'm gonna delete this. Instead, we are gonna use switch. Okay, perfect. Of course, we are gonna arrange our dark mode, but for now, it looks awesome. Let's create some posts inside this feed. Of course, you can come here and create another component, which is list item, and you can pass its link, its text, and icon. But I'm not gonna do this. Let's open up feed. I can close them. To show our posts, I'm gonna use Material UI cards. Let's say card. There's a basic card. Or you can add any image and those interactive buttons. What else? Okay, it's similar, so we can use this one. It looks awesome. It can be our user. We can like or dislike this post, but there's an accordion here. We can just get rid of this. It's gonna be only this card. Let's see how we can use it. Okay, I can copy here. Of course, we are gonna change. And I'm gonna paste here. Let's import them. Card. I'm gonna delete here. We don't need any custom width. Card header, author. If you want to use your theme color, you have to import this also, but I will just basically write here red. Icon button, media, and I'm gonna add here my image. Let's use this free image again, and it's gonna be our text content and our actions, which is like button, share button. We don't need that. We are not gonna expand our cart item, and we can delete this. We don't have any additional description. Okay, let's see. Okay, I forgot this icon. Where is that? Okay, here. More vertical. Okay, let's delete this background color. We don't need this anymore. And perfect. What we can do, we can increase this image size. Let's come here, and as you can see, there's a default height here. Let's say 20%. So in this case, if I go to mobile version, it's gonna look much better. And in desktop version, it's nice also. It's that easy, guys. If you use only HTML and CSS, it will take probably 20 minutes, half hour, but thanks to Material UI, it just takes 1 minute. But I wanna add one more thing here. As you can see, if I click this heart button, it's not changing. So instead of this button, I'm gonna add here a checkbox. Let's see how we can use it. This is the basic checkbox. Of course, we are gonna use icon. And here, when I click this, it's filling inside this button. We can use it. And it's really easy to use. You are just giving an icon with only border. And when you check it, which means when you click, it changes to another icon. Let's copy this. I'm gonna delete this. And checkbox. We don't have any prop here. And let's import this. And that's all. Let's see right now. As you can see, it's only border. When I click, it's gonna be blue heart. You can change its color. I will say color will be red. Okay, it's much better. So what else we can do? We can add multiple posts. But this time, let's create another component. Post.js. I'm gonna create my function here quickly, and inside it's gonna be this card. Let's copy this here. Of course, we are gonna need all those icons and components like that. We don't need box here, and also I can delete here, and I will delete everything but box. Right now I can call my component. I will say cart. Sorry, it was post. I will say post. And in this case, I can use multiple posts like that. Okay, perfect. Of course, you can pass this username. By the way, it's a recipe. Maybe, let's say, John Doe 2022. Okay, I'm not gonna give any prop. It's gonna take time. We can leave it like that. But there is something more here. what we can do is adding here a margin. It's really close. So for this card, I will say margin is gonna be 5. Like that. It's much better. But as you realize, we have a problem here that because we cannot see our list here, it's really easy to handle that. Let's open sidebar again, and I'm gonna give here a position. But if I give this for this box, let's say position fixed, as you can see, it looks really strange. That because fixed positioning is acting like a position absolute. So instead of this, I'm gonna create one more box inside, and it's gonna be our wrapper, and we can use position safely box, and I'm gonna wrap my list here like that. And right now I can give position fixed. Let's see right now. Okay, perfect. And I'm scrolling and it's still here. So I'm gonna copy here and I will do the same thing for right bar. I'm gonna delete this background color and I'm gonna create one more box here. And I'm scrolling and it's staying here. And also our Navbar, remember it was sticky. Awesome, it works. So what we can add here? We can add our online friends. Let's do that. I'm gonna add, let's say, online friends. And I'm gonna give a variant here. Let's say age 6. But it's really thick. Let's make this thinner. To do that, I can directly give font weight here. And it's gonna be, let's say, 100. It's gonna be the thinnest one. But we are not using 100, I think. Let's open up index.html. And as you can see, we are using just 300, 400, and 5. I'm just gonna add here 100, 200. In this case, it's gonna be thinner. Okay, perfect. Right now, let's add our friends. I'm gonna open avatar again. But this time we are not gonna use only one avatar, we are gonna use avatar group. Let's check here. And as you can see, it's gonna be like that. You can give max prop here. As you can see, it's 4. And when you add 5 avatars, it's gonna show 4 avatars here. But when you add 5 avatars, it's gonna be +2 here. So let's use here. And I'm gonna paste here. Avatar group. Okay, perfect. But as you can see, we don't have any image. To prevent this, I'm gonna copy and paste my avatars here. And max number will be 7. Okay, if you don't give any image, it's gonna show this blank avatar. Let's check. For this user, there is no avatar. It's gonna be this image. So what else we can use? We can create here a photo gallery. Let's check. I'll say list, but this time it's gonna be image list. And as you can see, it works like a grid system. You can use more artistic one, like this one, and others. This basic one is totally enough, and this is how it works. We are gonna create image list, and for each image, we are gonna create image list item. Of course, we don't have any list. You can create a JSON file, but again, I'm gonna do this one by one. But before, let's create another text here, another title, and it's gonna be latest posts or photos. And after this, I'm gonna create image list. And inside this, I'm gonna paste my items. Let's import this also. Okay, and as you can see, you can give any custom height here or column number. In this example, if it's more than 3 images, this list is gonna move them in another line, like that. So columns will be 3 columns and row height will be, let's say, 100, like that. And also you can arrange those spaces. To do that, I will say cap. If I say 5, for example, it's gonna be something like that. Okay. By the way, we can give a padding for this box, or we can give a custom width, that because it's really close to end of the screen. So let's come here for this box. Let's give width, for example. Okay, right now it's much better. By the way, we can give some margin for this text. I will say margin top, let's say 2, and margin bottom is gonna be 2. Okay, perfect. And let's add one more thing here, and it's gonna be latest conversations. So I will copy here, latest conversations. And remember, we have seen a list here. Let's check. And I saw something here. Okay, this one is awesome. Exactly what I want. Let's see how we are using. Again, we are using list, list item, user avatars, and other texts. Let's directly copy this. Actually, it looks pretty nice. Like that. And I'm gonna import them. Let's import everything we need like that. I don't want to waste time. Okay, let's see. And awesome. Of course, there is no image, that because they are still static. We don't have any image. But if you want to, you can give. Let's give one of them. By the way, I can delete this margin bottom maybe. And perfect. What else we can do? We have posts, but there is no button to add any post. Let's create a button and create here a model. So let's create another component. Inside components, I will say add.js. My function, and I'm gonna add this inside app.js. Let's add it here. I will say add from components, and let's close them. Okay, so what kind of button we are gonna use? Let's search for tooltip. As you can see, it's just a button, but underneath there is a text. But inside, instead of icon, we are gonna be using anything else. I'm gonna show you, but before, let's copy this. I'm gonna paste it here. By the way, it's not gonna be div, it can be just React fragment. And I'm gonna import this tooltip. I'm gonna delete here, and let's see something else. And it's gonna be fab. And as you can see, it looks much more better. It has this default animation inside, so we can use it. I will copy this and paste inside. Fab. It's gonna be primary, and my icon here. It's gonna be add icon. But I cannot do this, that because our component name is already add, so I'm gonna install add icon. Let's come here and say import add as add icon, and it's gonna be MUI and icons. Let's see. And it's gonna be somewhere here. But we are gonna give another position for this, like absolute or fixed. So it's gonna be somewhere here. Let's do that. Inside this tooltip, I will say as X, and position will be fixed. And we are gonna give some position here. Bottom will be, let's say 20. Like that. And left side will be something like 30. But if we do this, and when we open mobile version, it's gonna look a little bit weird. So I'm gonna move this in the middle of the screen. So I can write here my condition, I will say left. And if it's extra small, we are gonna need some calculation. And I will say 50%, X small. If it's medium, it's gonna be just 30. And as you can see, it's somewhere here, but it's still not in the middle of the center. That's because we didn't calculate its radius here. If I remember correctly, it was 25 pixels. So if I say minus 25, it's gonna be on the middle. By the way, we have extra space here. It shouldn't be like that. We are gonna handle that, but before, let's take care of this button. So when I click this button, I'm gonna create a modal here that we can add our posts. To do that, let's come here and modal. Okay, I will click, and as you can see, it's opening. We can use this. I will copy this, and after this tooltip, I'm gonna paste. Let's import. We are gonna have a box. We don't need this style and those texts. I'm gonna delete, and I will just say hello. Of course, we are gonna need our state. As we always do, I'm gonna create open, set open, and the initial state will be false. It's gonna be close, and when I click on this button, on click methods, it's gonna be set open and true. So I can do the same thing for close method, and it's gonna be false. I will come here, I'm clicking, and as you can see, hello is here. But I don't want a full screen box. So what I'm gonna do is giving some width and height for our box, and making this modal display flex. What I mean by that? Let's come here, and let's say width 400, height will be 280 or whatever you want. Let's give background color, and it's gonna be white. And I will give some padding, it's gonna be 3. And as you can see, it's here. Maybe border radius, I will say 5. Okay, it's better, but as you can see, it's not centered. So I can create my own modal. Let's say styled modal, and I'm gonna create my own modal here. I will say const modal is gonna be styled and modal. I should import this, and I will say display flex, align items center, and justify content center. Let's see right now. Okay, perfect. So let's create a title here inside this box and create post. I'm gonna give my variant H6 and maybe color, let's say gray. Let's see. Okay, it's here. I can center this. I will just use text align. It's gonna be center. Oops, equal. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is creating here a user avatar and username. To do that, again, as we did before, I can create user box, and inside we are gonna have our avatar and username. Let's say John Doe, and font weight will be 500, and its type will be span. Let's import this, and let's create our user box. I can copy this actually. It's gonna be user box, and again display flex and align item center. By the way, it's gonna be box, of course. I will click, and as you can see, it's here. I can give some margin here. To do that, remember, if you are using flexbox, you can directly give gap here, let's say 10 pixels, and I'm gonna give margin bottom. Okay, we have margin here. Right now I can add my text box here. To do that, we are gonna use text field. As you can see, we can use this one, but I want to add more rows. Let's come here. As you can see, multi-line, we can use this. It's the last one. I'm gonna copy, and after this user box we can add, I'm gonna import, and we don't need any label. Let's see first. Okay, instead of this default value, I'm gonna add placeholder. It's gonna look better, and let's say what's on your mind. Maybe let's give full width. To do this, I'm gonna use SX, and width will be, let's say, 100%. Okay, perfect. But it doesn't look, it's a placeholder. I'm gonna close and open again, probably it didn't save. Okay, perfect. It looks awesome. Maybe a little bit smaller. Okay, right now let's add here some icons. To do this, we can use stack layout. I will say stack. Remember, it's a flexbox and we can give any direction, and it's gonna be row. And for each item, I'm gonna give a gap, and it's gonna be 1. Let's see. I'm gonna add some icons. First one will be emoji icon, this one, like that. Let's import. If I duplicate this, we can see better. Okay, as you can see, like that. And for this stack, let's give some margin. Margin top will be 2, and margin bottom will be, let's say, 3. Okay, much better. And for others, it's gonna be image. It's gonna be this one, video camera back, and add person. This one. I'm gonna add them, and I'm gonna give different colors. Let's add directly like that, and I'm gonna import them. Okay, as you can see, primary, secondary, success, and error. Like that. And there is one more thing we should do, and it's gonna be our button. But let's do something different. I wanna show you different components as much as I can. And it's gonna be button group. As you can see, we can use different buttons like that. Let's copy this. And after this stack, I will say button group, and button is gonna be post, and second one will be just icon. Which icon we are gonna use? Let's come here, date, range, we are gonna use this one. So it's gonna be like a schedule, of course, inside component like that, and I'm gonna import. Okay, but I'm gonna make this full width. To do this, I will just come here and full width. Maybe we can arrange its size. It's really big. It's just an icon, so I will say width. It's gonna be 100 pixels, for example. Oops. Of course, inside button. Okay. I'm gonna open, and it's here. Perfect. It looks pretty good. So we can change our dark mode. You cannot imagine how easy to use it. Let's open up app.js, and here I'm gonna create a theme. I will say const dark theme, and it's gonna be create theme from material UI, and here we are gonna use palette, and inside we are gonna use mode. And by default it has two modes. First one is dark and second one is light. Of course, we are gonna change it, so we are not gonna use any of them. I will say const mode set mode, and at the beginning it's gonna be light mode, so I can use it here. And I'm gonna wrap my application. I will say theme provider, and let's wrap this box like that. And right now we are able to use our dark theme. Okay, it's light at the beginning, but what if I change this? And as you can see, as soon as I do that, all those components are changing. This cart, this list, this navbar, we don't have to do anything, but we don't have any background. It's really easy to handle. I will come here and I will say background color, background, and default. It's gonna be like that. If I do this, as you can see, it's black. But what about our texts? I will do the same thing. I will say color. This time it's gonna be text dot primary. And right now it's white. That's because our primary color is white. If I open this, as you can see, it's still light. Let's go to add page, and I will do the same thing. I will copy here. And where is our box? Okay, it's here. And instead of white, I will say background color default, text color primary. It's that easy, guys. It's just 1 minute thing. But how we are gonna change it? I will come here, and again at the beginning it's gonna be light, and I'm gonna set this inside this sidebar. When I click this button, it's gonna be dark mode. When I click again, it's gonna be light mode. Let's send this. I will say set mode, and it's gonna be set mode. And also I'm gonna send my mode because we are gonna compare. Okay, let's open up sidebar, and I'm gonna take my props, mode and set mode. Let's come here. So I'm gonna add here on change event, and I will say set mode, and I'm gonna write my condition. I'm gonna look inside mode, and if it's light, it's gonna be dark, and if it's not light, it's gonna be light. That's all. Let's see. I'm clicking and dark mode, clicking again, light mode. Perfect. Of course, we can give endless examples, but it's just a crash course. I believe that you feel much more confident right now. You can play around all those components, and after creating couple projects, I'm sure that it's gonna be your favorite UI library. So let's deploy our application. It's really easy. Only thing you should do is writing here npm run and build. It's gonna take a while, and after that it's gonna create a build folder here. As you can see, it's here and it's ready. It includes our index.html and our static files. Let's open our H panel, and here I'm gonna choose my hosting. I'm using this one, and in this page I'm gonna scroll and find file manager. I'm gonna click, and as you can see, this is our main file. This is our default homepage. I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna drag and drop my files into this folder. Let's choose them, and I will drag and drop here. And that's all, it's ready. It was just a couple seconds. and it's ready. As you can see, it works. Let's check out our functionalities. Okay, it's working. Let's try dark mode. This button here. It's that easy, guys. And as you can see, our connection is secure. That's because we are using HTTPS connection. And that's all. I hope you liked it. If you learned something new today, please like the video. And if you want to support Lama Dev, you can join the channel or you can use the link in the description below. And don't forget to follow Lama Dev's social media accounts. I hope I will see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.